Our next speaker today has deep empathy for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to experience personal and business transformation. She knows what it feels like to crack wide open and go deep to discover how our core beliefs and motivations affect the way we show up in life. For the last 2 decades, she has spoken at conferences and retreats to help thousands of business leaders break through their barriers and jump onto the yellow brick road of their own hero's journey to discover who they truly are and bring their best selves to work and play every single day. Today, our speaker will address one specific tool to help you tap into how you can gain clarity around what matters most to you, both personally and professionally. Please welcome, with the blingy shoes, Cheryl Knowlton. Yay! Woo! Fabulous.
You're fabulous. Yay! All right. What would you say if I told you that having a business plan could totally change your life? What would you say to that? What? Yeah? Okay, Leanne, you are unusual and fabulous, and we all know that about you. I heard some naysayers over here. Yeah? Megan, like, no, not so much, right? Who else is like, not really buying it? Yeah? Okay, what if I told you that having a business plan totally changed my life? All right. Tell us more. Go back in time with me, if you would, to December 2014. I am working for the #1 Century 21 office in the world, the whole world, right in Salt Lake City, Utah. Can you believe that? And my boss, George Morris, very good friend of mine now, but then he was stern boss. And he told each and every one of us on the leadership team, by January 1, you will have a full business plan on my desk. And it wasn't enough that it was just a business plan. Oh no, it had to be business and personal. What did we want to achieve professionally? What did we want to achieve personally? Ooh. Now, I was with you. I didn't believe that a business plan could totally change my life. I knew it conceptually, and I was like, yeah, that's for other people. I also knew that only 7% of real estate professionals in the country even claim to have a business plan. So what does that really tell you? It's probably a smaller number than that, right? 1 or 2%, actually. And I was one of those that had taken the classes, heard all about it, and did nothing with it. But now I have to do it. So guess what? I did it. Yay! And I was so excited. I cut and pasted all the goals that I had not achieved in the last 10 years onto this year's business plan. I went and bought a hot pink folder to put it all in, so I stood out from the rest of the leadership team, put it on his desk, and bada bing, in January, there I am, sitting across his desk, a little excited, a little nervous, a little sweaty palm, but I'm excited about this meeting. Little did I know that he was about to pose a question that was absolutely going to change my life in that very meeting. He asked me, as he was going down my business plan, what are you doing about number 7 right here? First of all, remember I wrote that last month. And second of all, I just cut and paste all the goals that I did not achieve before, and I can't read it upside down. The font is too small. So I'm having that freak out moment where I'm like, oh, I'm trying to see it, and I don't want to have to ask him, what's number 7? I finally break down, like, oh my gosh, I can't get out of this one without just asking the question. I can see that it's on the personal side, but that's all I can see, where his finger has stopped. George, what is number 7? And he said, find my birth family. What are you doing about that? And I had to answer, honestly, I have no idea. That particular goal has been on my to-do list for 10 years. Something I've always wanted to do, and I've never known what to do about it. And then he asked the question, have you ever heard of 23andMe? Now remember, this was January 2015, and I had never heard of it. And so I answered truthfully, no, I've never heard of 23andMe. And he said, he jumped on his MacBook Air and he types in www.23andme.com, flips around his MacBook Air and says, bada bing, there's the kit. you will order this kit. Now remember, number 1 Century 21 office in the world. It wasn't a suggestion. It was, right? It was a matter of when I did it, not if I did it. So I went home, I ordered the kit. And it came, and I spit in a little tube, and I sent it back with hopes and dreams and everything wrapped up and attached to finding my birth family. And guess what came back? What? A hot batch of nothing. Eighth cousin. I'm like, seriously? I don't even know how to connect those dots. I don't even know how to hire a private investigator to connect those dots. Like, how do you even do that? I was so hopeful that this was going to actually lead to something. Fast forward to December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day of that year. I no longer work for George. That was not entirely an amicable split. But the thing, that golden thread that kept us together all those years, is on day 1 when I went to work for him, he told me that he was adopted at birth. And so was I. December 7th, it's a Sunday, and I'm sitting up in my bed, my computer's close by, and my youngest daughter, Laurel, and my husband are starting to get into a little bit of a tiff. You know those uncomfortable conversations between your kid and your spouse, and you're like, I'm checking out of this situation. I just don't want to have any part of this. And I remembered that earlier that week, I had gotten an email from 23andMe that said, you have new DNA relatives. Now, keep in mind, up to this point, I'd gotten a few of those with a hot batch of not very exciting, and I did not have any premonition that today was going to be any different. Nevertheless, I was looking for an escape from this little fight, right? So I open up my laptop, I jump onto the email, and I click on DNA relatives. And there it is. There it is. First cousin, and a name. And so I say to my husband, I say to my daughter, time out on your cute little fight, whatever you guys are doing right now. I think I just found my birth family. And they both froze. And then my daughter, being the cute, adorable millennial that she is, grabbed my computer, saw the unusual name, Jim Kegaris. And she did her little research with her little fingers flying, and she found out that there were only 3 individuals named Jim Kegaris in the entire United States. She was not prepared for me not taking action on that, so she did it for me. Bless her cute little heart. She sent a little message on Facebook to all 3 of them. Dear Jim, my name is Cheryl. I was born in the California Bay Area in 1968. If you happen to do 23andMe, and if you found the same match that I did, and we are in fact first cousins, call me, maybe. And I saw what she had done, and I was excited and terrified at the same time, but I was grateful that the idea of doing it was taken out of my hands. And then nothing all day Sunday, nothing all day Monday. By Tuesday, I started really doubting myself, doubting the process, doubting all of it, and thinking, just another disappointment. Nothing's going to happen. I can still feel the crunch of the snow under my boots as I got out of my car to walk into Hobby Lobby 2 days later on Tuesday. I can still hear the bell ringer of the cute little Salvation Army guy with his little red hat right in front of the store ringing his bell as I walked into the store. I walk in and there's a display of stockings, and I see one that says, "Dear Santa, I can explain." Now, who needs that, right? My youngest daughter needs that. This is a perfect thing for her. And I reach into my bag. It's sitting in the cart. And as I go to pull out my phone to take a picture, there it is on my iPhone. I can see it. It's a message. It's a message from Jim. Oh my gosh, my heart stopped. I felt my knees go out from under me. Now I'm holding on to my cart at Hobby Lobby for dear life. And it said, "Dear Cheryl, I was very confused when I got your message, but after talking with my mother and a couple of other family members, I now know you are, in fact, my first cousin." My niece at that point, the poor people at Hobby Lobby who are watching this on the little security film, like I'm watching this woman have a medical event in the stocking aisle right there. I hold on to my cart and I'm walking around and like throwing things into my cart. All the things. As I'm texting him, is my mother still alive? Yes, she is. Do I have siblings? Yes, you do. You have 3 sisters, and you have nieces, and you have nephews, and you have brothers-in-law. You have cousins. You have people who love you and have been waiting to figure out where you've been for the last 47 years. It took me about an hour and a half walking around, throwing things in my cart. $247 later, holding on to my cart for dear life, I checked out and finally walked out to my car. And of course, hands shaking, the first person I texted was my husband. The second group that I texted was our massive family group thread that blows up with 75 texts a day. You know that one. Had to tell my girls. And the next person I told, even though I didn't work for him anymore, even though we weren't necessarily really on the best of terms, was George. And I thanked him for putting me on this journey, for loving me enough to encourage me to do the business plan to begin with, because would I have done it without him? Nope. The business plan, I go back to my original question. Can a business plan change your life? Yes. If you write it and you create the vision from inside, true to who you are, your true north, your compass of who you are, where you're going in your life, and you've got somebody who loves you, who will hold you accountable to what you said you wanted over here when you are out of the mood and don't feel like doing it anymore. So, you ready to write a little business plan? Let's do it! Yes!